Did you ever have one of those days where you were just on a roll? Or did you have one of those days when everything just clicked? The Hazleton area Lady Cougar bowling team had one of those days at the Eastern Pennsylvania Regional Championships last weekend, and they let it ride all the way to a second place finish at the tournament, and that earned them a trip to the state finals. The Hazleton area Lady Cougar bowling team got things rolling in the right direction very early on the day of the Eastern Pennsylvania Regional Championships.
That morning when we were all eating breakfast together, I looked around the room at the girls. That moment, that light switch went on. I knew then we were going to get into the finals. These kids just kept talking about it, what they needed to achieve, how they had to stay focused amongst themselves before I even got a hold of them and gave them their pregame pep talk, so to speak. And they just did a phenomenal job getting down there, executing, making the adjustments quickly. Was a really turning point for us during that match play.
The top 6 teams from the Pennsylvania Eastern Regional Championships are moving on to face the top 6 teams from the Western Regional Championships in Pittsburgh on March 15th. The top 4 teams there will advance to the final bracket. The Lady Cougars placed second at the Eastern Regional Championships, falling to Penn Manor in the championship match after a day filled with bowling.
Anybody that throws a lot of bowling games, they know 3, 5, 7, you're a little tired. They bowled close to 17 games that day, and we went into that final match. We struggled a little bit. The team didn't beat us per se. We beat ourselves because we weren't picking up our simple spares. So that's one of the techniques and things we're going to be working on today. Seal that last thing up, get one of our girls back in their strike zone, and we're just going to start rolling with the punches then.
The Lady Cougars had a lot of support throughout the day at regionals from their fans and from the boys team. They bowled so well, some of the other teams were even checking in on them.
We had a lot of teams that we faced in tournaments such as the Icebreaker where other teams never expected us to finish where we did. And they kept looking down the lanes going, what's going on with Hazleton? Where did this team come from this year? They were just, every time they turned around, we were running 4 or 5 strikes in a row, each girl, closing out the spares, having clean games, which means you're marked out in all the frames, 1 through 10, putting up the scores that we did. And they just kept looking down in bewilderment of what was going on with us. And, these girls are focused. I said it at the beginning of the season. I've never done it as a coach. I knew there was something special with this group back then, and they proved it this past Saturday.
The Hazleton area Lady Cougars are the first girls team from Northeast Pennsylvania to make it to the state tournament.